And upon the first day of the week, when the disciples came together to break bread, Paul preached unto them, ready to depart on the morrow, and continued his speech until midnight. This verse is used by some to support the idea that Paul and the other disciples were gathering on Sunday as a day of worship, in addition to or in place of the Saturday Sabbath. However, there are 3 reasons that this is not the case. First, according to Acts chapter 2, the disciples were meeting every day, breaking bread from house to house, so it's not particularly important that they were meeting on any specific day. Second, according to God's Word, a day begins and ends at sunset. As we can see from the creation account in Genesis, it is the evening that separates the days. According to many verses in Leviticus, the ritually unclean become clean again in the evening. So if this was the first day of the week, one interpretation could be that they were meeting at someone's home for a meal after having been to the synagogue on the Sabbath. A third possible explanation has to do with something called the counting of the Omer. If we look at the context of the verse, we can see that this would be more accurately translated, upon the first of the Sabbaths. Notice that the word day is italicized in the King James Version. This means that this word was inserted by the translators and is not actually present in the Greek. The Greek word translated as week is sabbaton, which can mean Sabbaths or week. If you think about it, the phrase, the first of the Sabbaths, does not seem at first to make sense, which is why the word day was added and sabbaton was translated week. However, is there a time when a series of Sabbaths is counted in the Bible? Leviticus 23:15 and 16 tell us how to arrive at the day of Pentecost. You begin counting the day after the Sabbath after Passover. From there you count 7 Sabbaths, and the day following will be the day of Pentecost. So there is a time when we count Sabbaths. However, does it fit? From Acts 20, verse 6, we see that it was after the days of unleavened bread, or Passover, and Acts 20:16 tells us that it was before the day of Pentecost. This explanation does fit the context. So let's look again at the argument. This verse doesn't support a new day set aside for worship, since the disciples met every day. And since in the Bible a new day begins in the evening, they could have actually gathered first on the Sabbath. However, since the word day isn't actually present, it makes more sense in the context for it to mean the first of the Sabbaths in the counting of the 7 Sabbaths to Pentecost.